That's all right.
So part 3, welcome back, Russ. For anyone that hasn't watched anything, we've done 2 parts on everything you need to know about wills, and the part 2 was everything about trusts and why they, if you don't know what one is, what it is, and why they are the best thing since sliced bread and you need to know about it. So part 3, I'll introduce Russ, who is from RJC Wills, and me and Russ go back about 8 years. We were connected via a networking event and a referral. And he's never been able to get rid of me. So on that note, we are going to cover everything you might need to know about a power of attorney and why you need one. I'm 35 and I've just got one, and it feels a bit weird, to be honest. I won't lie. So I'm going to go over to you, Russ, and say, what is a lasting power of attorney?
Brilliant. Morning, Keely. Hi, yeah, well, lasting power of attorney. So it's basically a legal document that you need to set up and have registered with the courts or the Office of the Public Guardian, naming attorneys that basically, should you then lose capacity, these people step up legally and can act on your behalf. So make decisions regards your finances, your property, your businesses. That would all come under your property and financial power of attorney. And then there's a second one you can do regards health decisions. So yeah, anything to do with your health and personal welfare. So a lot of people think, I don't know, married couples, that you don't need power of attorney because next of kin, but next of kin doesn't come into it. If you lose capacity and you do not have a lasting power of attorney in place, it's an absolute nightmare. Your family, your loved ones are then having to look at a court of protection application for deputyship, which is costly, onerous, and could be rejected by the court in favour of their own deputy.
Wow. When you put it like that, sounds lovely. But yeah, I think with power of attorney, I mean, when we first met, it was to kind of arrange it for my nan and stuff and get everything done for her. And it's been the best thing since sliced bread, because at the point she was fine, capacity was there, you know, life was all hunky-dory and normal. And since then, unfortunately, she's got Alzheimer's, and as her next of kin, you can't do anything. You literally can't do anything. And even a phone call to the doctors, you know, you can't have a conversation with them. You know, they need a copy of everything. Oh, it's just, I would say it's really tiresome when you've got a power of attorney, let alone the absolute burden and headache of not having one. It's been a saving grace of being able to just take action and really put your foot down, because when it's someone you love, obviously that's just the most important thing, isn't it? It's getting whatever it is needed done. And without a power of attorney, I just, yeah, I can't even imagine where we'd be right now if I hadn't have had it. And I know obviously there's 2 sides to it, isn't there? So some people, I don't know why some people would get just one. I think at that time maybe it might have seemed like a good idea, but yeah, I also know that kind of when it comes to the bank, and obviously with Alzheimer's and forgetful and this, that, and the other, to be able to go and actually cancel standing orders when she had to, you know, move from her home, and just things that you just take for granted, that you'd be able to go, oh, well, she's now in a home, so we need to take that off. They can't do that without power of attorney, no. Let alone being able to have a say medically on her behalf, you know. So yeah, it's been a complete savior, to be honest.
A lot of people do decide just to do the property, or they think they only need to do the property, because the difference with the property and the health is that you can stipulate with the property and financial when your attorneys act. So you can say that once this is registered and it comes back, my attorneys can act whether I have capacity or not. Your health one, you are only able, or your attorneys can only act if you lack capacity. So some people think that that's not so important and they can come back. My advice is always best to do both. I practice what I preach, but I want peace of mind. I'm married, I've got kids. If I drive out today and I have a smash and I'm in a coma, I don't want to know that my wife can't access my monies. Because as a married couple, we've got a joint bank account and I've got my own account. But if I lost capacity without power of attorney, my wife wouldn't be able to access my accounts. Our joint account could be frozen. Wouldn't be able to go.
Really?
Oh, this is what people don't realise. The only issue with setting up power of attorney, they take so long to register. with the court, and they can't be used until they come back registered. And at the moment, you're probably talking 5 to 6 months. So if people wait until there's a problem, quite often it can be too late.
Yeah.
Get it done whilst you have capacity. So
yeah, I suppose mine come through, and I knew it took a little while, but I didn't really think too much about it because clearly I don't feel like I need it, but I need it there. Does that make sense? So it wasn't kind of oh, where is it? Where is it? I'm waiting for it, as in to take action. But it did seem to take a while, but I didn't realize that's actually just the length it takes to process, basically.
they're just extremely behind, and have been ever since COVID started, and just can't seem to get back on track, really. So yeah, so it's a long waiting game. What the lasting powers of attorney replaced in 2007 was what previously was known as an enduring power of attorney, which a lot of people still currently have. The only issue with an enduring power, they're an unregistered document and could only be registered when you lose capacity. So if you lose capacity and it goes to be registered and there's a problem with that form, you're going to have no attorneys. So you're then going to have to be dealing with deputyship applications. So I quite often encourage people to get rid of the enduring power, go for the lasting power, and then we know it's going to be registered with the court, comes back, and then if you lose capacity, there's no delay. Your attorneys can literally get on with everything immediately for you. So
a question about attorneys then. So how many do you need?
Ideally, minimum of 2. Now, you can have first-line attorneys and you can name replacements. So I'd always prefer more than one person to be named, because if anything happens to that attorney, you then have no backup plan. So yeah, really a minimum of 2.
Okay.
Number 2.
And then, so what happens if something happens to that person, like one of the named people? Let's just say you got 2 or 3. Is it easy to like swap it? Is that what you do? Can you swap it? Or is it just you need one acting person that can act on your behalf?
Yeah, it depends. You can set up so you can have replacements. They'd obviously step up if there was an issue. So you can really set it up how you want it to be, really. So
okay. And I know that for mine, my dad won't watch this, so I can say, but I put my dad as one of my, not first line, should we say, because I've got power of attorney over my dad, and I think he can't look after himself at the best of times. So God knows why I've put him on mine. But yeah, I did ask him. I was like, Dad, are you happy to go on as power of attorney? He's like, well, what do I have to do? I was like, well, hopefully nothing. But yeah, it's I was like, I'm not sure why I picked him, but I know in a time of need, his sensibility and his kind of heart would be in the right place in it for me. But I did question myself. So I think one of the things I'd say is maybe just think about, really think, who do you trust to have your best interests? And, and sometimes that isn't always family.
No, but likewise, if you choose a professional, they're going to kindly charge every time and for everything that they do for you. So yeah, no, ideally it'd be family or friends or people close, people know you. There is, again, business owners. Sometimes business owners and powers of attorney can be quite essential. But again, you've got to be careful. I'm married to my wife, Jenny. So if I was in business with you and we were co-directors, Keely, you might not get on with Jenny, for example. So if I've just got Jenny as my general power of attorney for my financial matters, that includes my business. So what I can do is do 2 financial powers of attorney, limiting one to my business, excluding personal, and the other one would be vice versa. So it's just another way of ensuring continuity, I suppose, with businesses. I suppose more so, again, if you're sole trader or sole director and you make every decision and authorize every payment, every order and everything in a business, if you end up in a coma on your way home, how does your business continue to run? And I think that most business owners really need to sort of ask themselves that question, not necessarily for themselves, but a lot of them owe that to their staff and employees.
So does it matter how big your business is? Because I'm just thinking there's a lot of people who will be entrepreneurs and stuff that watch this, or coaches, or kind of small business owners. Is it worthwhile for them, or what?
But as you might have, I've clients that might have 3 or 4 different businesses. They've got staff working in each. and they might want said manager in each business to be the attorney, but it's limited to that business. So you can, yeah, set it up to whatever you really need. It's,
Okay.
if
So,
you need it, then yeah, do it really. Yes, there's a fee, but it's for what it insures.
yeah. Yeah, I hadn't really thought about it in that kind of sense before, capacity. Yeah. And it makes sense, funnily enough. Otherwise it wouldn't be there, would it?
You never
Okay.
see any advertising, you know. I don't hear or read or see any posters, articles, programs mentioning do powers of attorney. You know, there is no other way of getting peace of mind. If you don't have them and you lose capacity, your loved ones are dealing with the court of protection. I deal with these myself. I've got some going on. They've been going on a year now. We're still no nearer to completion. You're talking £3,000, £4,000, £5,000 in fees and applications. So yeah, it's just a case of getting your
Proactive
right, really.
rather than reactive.
Yeah. Don't wait. If you wait until it's too late, it's quite often too late to do anything about it. So, or your fees will just go horrendously high.
Yeah. And I think sometimes people, you know, oh God, everything in life's really expensive at the minute, and cost of living and just everything, it's another bill. But I suppose, you know, I think it's one of those things, and what I'm about to say really triggered me at the time, but I get it. But I didn't think it was appropriate at the time. But I went into a bank, and as I was stood waiting in the queue, someone approached me, and someone who works there, and he was like, oh, do you insure your fridge, freezer, washing machine, whatever it was, he said. And I was like, oh, I think it's on one of those payment things, you know, where it just goes for X amount of years and then gets replaced or whatever it was at the time. And he was like, oh, he said, is that how you do your life insurance? And I was like, oh, no, I haven't got life insurance. He went, oh, so you value your fridge freezer more than your life, do you? Well, I don't know if you've got kids, but it's probably not what they want to hear, is it? And I get what he's saying, but it got my back up because that was not the right way in a sales approach to go for it. But it's kind of the same thing, I suppose, with wills, trust, power of attorney. You know, we go on holidays, we renovate our houses, we put so much money into other things, whereas actually what is more important than protecting you and your family, and you know, the headaches, potential headaches that, you know, may arise as well.
But for a 2-week holiday in the sun is realistically going to cost you more money than it would to set up a complete estate plan, wills, trust, powers of attorney, and get peace of mind for you and your whole family. So it is. It's just, I suppose, priorities.
Yeah, and hopefully, and the whole point of kind of this like 3-part recordings is more about bringing the topic up, having a conversation, because it's something that you just say in passing and then don't always action. Whereas, you know, the call to action for this is really think about it. It's not even necessarily Ross is the only person available to do this, because obviously just do your research. But I've recommended so many people to you, and they recommend people because, you know, we're really pleased with what we do, which is why you're on the call with me to kind of have this conversation. And it's just really about kind of bringing it to the forefront, thinking about it, and then not just thinking about it, take some action. Take some action.
I'm always happy to have a phone call. I'm always happy to do a Zoom call initially. No obligation. If you need to know more, then I'm here to inform people, really.
Magic. And just because Ross is such a nice guy, he's also supporting our charity. So yeah, we're going to set up a Free Wills Day, aren't we, for the Last Kiss Foundation, which would be amazing. So he's not just a guy sorting out your estate, he's also got a good heart too. So I really appreciate that.
I'd like to give a little back. So
absolutely.
Thank you.
Absolutely. So thank you for your time. Thank you for the conversations. And hopefully, even if it's just one person that takes some action and saves their family some future pain, or even save them thousands of pounds, or one or the other, then yeah, you definitely need to watch the other two, not just this one if you haven't seen them. But yeah, thanks very much, Russ.
All right. Thanks, Keely. Take care. Bye.